All right, brothers and sisters, so for today's truth, we're going to look at the sanctuary message. Now, I'm going to break it up into two, doing one today and one tomorrow, because there's quite a lot to cover on this. Now, a sanctuary message relates to what had happened in 1844. Okay, now, to understand that, we need to read Daniel 8:14, which says, "And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then the sanctuary shall be cleansed." Okay, so it says 2,300 days. Now we got to take a day for a year, as this is biblical prophecy. So Ezekiel 4:6 shows that God has set for us each day a year. So in biblical prophecies, one day represents a year. So now this 2,300 years ended in October this 22nd, 1844. And this was during the Millerite movement. Now the Millerite movement was to proclaim the Advent message. So Millerite studied Daniel 8:14. He looked at this sanctuary message, and then he thought it was the coming of Jesus Christ, the second coming of Jesus Christ. He thought it was the second coming of Jesus Christ. So they went about preaching this, right? Now he correlated that with Matthew 25, when it talks about the 10 virgins. So there were 10 virgins, 5 had their lamps trimmed and oil with them, and the other 5 did not have their lamps trimmed and had no oil with them. Now the oil represents the Holy Spirit. So 5 of them were righteous and were ready and settled in the truth, and the other 5 were not. So now the bridegroom tarried for a little while, as we read in Matthew 25. But then came out the loud cry, which said, "Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him." Now this is commonly referred as the midnight cry. So this is what Millerite took as that the sanctuary is going to be cleansed, meaning that Christ is coming, and in correlation with Matthew 25, he saw this. So then in Matthew 25:10, we see that the bridegroom came, and those who had their oil and their lamps trimmed entered into the marriage of the bridegroom. And those who did not, well, they were not allowed in. Okay, so which sort of concluded the message that the doors were closed, right? So that's how Millerite sort of looked at it, at that, the doors were closing, and Christ was coming because the sanctuary was going to be cleansed. But we know that the earthly sanctuary ended when Christ died. The veil was rent in two, and that the earthly sanctuary ceased to exist. And when Christ ascended into heaven, he became our high priest. John and Paul talks about this, and he went into the heavenly sanctuary. And in 1884, he entered into the most holy place. Now we're going to look at this on tomorrow's episode.